Hi, BookTube. First of all, the background. Um, yeah, sorry, it's not books. It's not even that pretty. I have my clown here with me. Hopefully, you're not afraid of clowns. I love clowns, and the 10th Doctor right there, and all these boxes because I'm moving, and the initial plan was to be moving into my parents' house, in a basement apartment they have there. Um, but now, um, it looks like we might be moving to a whole other province. And I don't know how long that's going to take. And with the amount of books I have, it just makes sense just to keep them packed. While that goes on instead of unpacking like 2,000 books, and packing them up again. Um, Thankfully, I have books pulled out for October and November, and I guess I'll just be doing ebooks in December if I can get this working. It's been stuck on the screen for like 4 hours, and this is my second attempt to get this computer to turn on again because I left all my ebooks on here. I didn't move them to the backup storage because I access them all the time. And the computer's only 18 months old. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about that or to talk about, well, a little bit to talk about the moving, but okay, so yeah. So this is a call out if you've ever moved a very, very long distance. It's a weird shadow. Sorry. I've never filmed in like here before. Yeah. If you ever moved a long distance with a lot of books, I know I'm gonna have to go through and I'm gonna have to purge. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but yeah. Give me advice. I think that's what I was asking. This is just a currently reading, like a current update type thing. I'm just looking at this ridiculous amount of books that I have on the go. I just finished Hush. I can't put a picture here because, as I said, this is pooched. So it's a Batman comic. Just imagine a Batman comic cover. It's pretty generic. Not really. It was a half decent story. A super villain gets all of Batman's regular villains to like go after him. Yeah, so that's what the very basic premise of Hush was. I think it's best just to go in. Yeah, okay, so novels. Well, actually, I'm still also reading Moonshadow by John Mark DeMatteis and John J. Muth. I love this, and I'm very hesitant to keep going because I do that with things that I love. I don't like them to end, and I like to take my time with them. So I'm about halfway through right now. I have read this before. It's a reread for me. It's my first time reading it in the physical form. Before I read it as an e-comic, and I had to order this from France, and it cost like $80. So yeah, this is like very, very dear to me in more than one sense. Yeah, see, 61.95 Canadian, and then taxes and shipping. Yeah, so there's that. It's about a young boy whose father is this giant orb god thing called what are they called again? They're only in the beginning. Geodoses, and his mother is a hippie, and he grows up in a zoo full of weird aliens, and eventually gets put on a spaceship with this creature called Ira. I'm seeing if there's a picture here that I can show you, who's like this great big furry thing. There's a little, you see him right there, that's his back, that's his tail, and he's always wearing a hat. He's a hedonistic, horrible person, but they get along, and they go, and he has a cat named Frodo, and they go on adventures across the world, and it's all about his great awakening, he calls it. So it's just a Bildungsroman in comic form, him growing up and learning about the world in very strange ways. And I have to be careful what I show you. There's a lot of nudity in here, but it's really good. It's really good. It was the first. Oh, that's nudity. I was going to show you this picture perfect of Ira. let's see, some of these ones that I've tagged. Oh, there's, like, it's the first comic done in watercolors. So yeah, it's very, man, there's a lot of nudity in here. I'm trying to see what I can show you. Yeah. Yeah, I've talked a lot about that, and I will continue to talk a lot about this. But yeah, it's really good. So those are the comics I've read. Audiobooks right now, I'm binging the, what's it called? Murderbot Diaries. I just started book 3 this morning, which is Rogue Protocol. So the first 2 were rereads for me. All Systems Red and Artificial Condition. So, and they're like 3 to 4 hours long, so they don't take very long to get through. They're good. I actually get through them in like under a week because my, I can't call it a commute because I'm from like place to place to place. I work in home healthcare and I listen to the audiobook in the car. So I go from like house to house, and like one of my patients is like 35 minutes away. So like I get at least an hour and a bit in there to listen to audiobooks, and another one's like 15 minutes away. So like I get through audiobooks pretty fast that way. Yeah, okay, 6 minutes in already. Let's get to these books here. Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. This is the second book in the Night Guards sub-series of the Discworld. And I read Guards earlier this year and I loved it. I always loved Discworld. The Assassin's Guild has been robbed. And the Night Guard are going to be looking into that. Yeah, and they've hired some new people, so they're not all just men. There's Angua, who's a woman most of the time. We have a troll, a dwarf, and Corporal Nobbs, who's been disqualified from the human race for shoving. So yeah, always entertaining to read a Discworld novel. I'm also reading Ghostwritten by David Mitchell. This is really weird so far. I think it's about 9 different people. Yeah, 9 corners of the globe, 9 characters. And the whole first chapter, I don't know if that's considered, is it a spoiler if it's in the first chapter? It says something on the back, but yeah, it's really weird, and I didn't know what was going on for a little while. I thought it was like a futuristic thing, and then it turned into be something totally different. But it's right up my alley because it's a subtopic that I'm interested in. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But yeah, it's interesting so far. I just moved on to the second perspective. So first perspective is like a middle-aged man, I'd say, in his 30s or something. And the second is like a 18, 19-year-old orphan. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm always like waiting for things to come together in David Mitchell novels. I'm also reading Ninefox Gambit, Yoon-Ha Lee. I really don't know what's going on. There's a lot of math, lots of talks about calendars, calendrical rod. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is. What are you, like, how are you like, there's a war going on, but the weapons they use don't make any sense. So I'm hooked on for the ride. I'm trying to get there, trying to understand what is going on. Maybe there will be no explanation. I just have to like go with the flow. We'll see. I like novels that just kind of drop you in, but yeah, I'm just letting you know I'm really confused at this point. And there's some sort of game that they're playing. But the game has to do with war, but I don't know if it's real or not. It's like, okay, yeah, but I'm liking it. I don't take my confusion for not liking it. I'm liking it so far. And it's a nice book to touch. It's just like it's got a nice feel. Okay. This is interesting. The Bus Driver Who Wanted to Be God and Other Stories by Edgar Carrot. This is 130 pages long, and there's 21 stories in here. There's 20 stories and then a like a short. It's not even a novella because, you know, it's just longer than everything else. It is. It's like 40 pages long. So it's like not a short story, but not a novella. All the other stories are like, I think this one I just read was 4 or 5 pages. This one's like The Flying Santinis. It's just like, that's how long it is. And most of them are weird. There's one that did disturb me. I didn't know this going in, But Etgar Karat is from Israel and lives in Israel still. So there is a story that I have to think more about a confrontation between an Israeli soldier and someone from Hamas. So yeah, just that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, but it might not be as simple as it seems on the surface. But I want to keep going because some of the other stories are really just interesting. There's a whole story about a guy, his mother's uterus gets put in a museum. Yeah, so it's just like weird stuff like that. That one story didn't seem to fit in with the level of weirdness. So it's like, why is it in there even? Okay. And then I'm also reading The Lost World by Michael Crichton. This is the second book in the Jurassic World series. And I'm only a few pages in. Talking a lot about chaos theory and stuff like that, because our main character in this one is Ian Malcolm. Yeah. aka Jeff Goldblum. So yeah. I don't know how close it is to the movie. I've seen the movies like a gazillion bazillion times, and even just opening this up and just seeing the name Ian Malcolm, I was like, I have to go watch the movies again. But I'm gonna wait until I've read this to watch the movies. Yeah, so only a few pages into that one. And I am rereading House of Leaves. This was probably not a good month to pick this up. I had this planned since like the beginning of the year that I was gonna read House of Leaves in October. But I'm doing an intense reread, which means like lots of notes and everything, and looking things up as they come along, trying to find stuff that fit theories that I had from before, so yeah, it takes me a long time to get through it, a long time to get through. I'm trying to do 15 pages a day. I'm already behind. Oh no, it will only take me 25 days. And it's 25 pages a day. Okay. But it's taking like an hour to read those 25 pages. But hopefully, once I get to these sections, I'll be able to breeze a bit more quickly through those instead of like these very intense, small pages. Yeah, it says, I don't know if I marked it. I should have had it saved. But he says at one point that the reader should be making notes as well. I don't know if I tagged it. Sorry, I can't edit these videos because I don't know how to on my phone. So I'm just gonna go through my tags real quick and see if there's anything. You'll stand aside as a great complexity intrudes, tearing apart piece by piece all of your carefully conceived denials. Okay then. Okay, maybe I didn't say that. I didn't tag everything that I wanted to, because otherwise every single line would be tagged. But there is a line where he says that, like, your note should be included in this too. If you don't know, if somehow I haven't explained this or you haven't found out about House of Leaves yet, there's like a whole bunch of stories going on. There's two main plot lines. First of all, we have notes on this documentary that may or may not exist. And you kind of learn about the documentary through these, I guess, essays is the best way to call them. That's what they seem like. And then those are written by a guy named Zampino, and they're about the Navidsons. So the documentary is about the house with the hallway that is too big for the inside of the house. And it's all dark and it's scary. It's a scary hallway. And it's not just a hallway eventually. Well, that's not a spoiler. It's like, you look at the map, the cover, and you can kind of get that there's a lot of stuff going on eventually. But then we also have the notes of Truant, who found the notes of Zampino. So we're getting Truant's story, And with Truant, we're getting Zampino's story. And then with Zampino's essays and notes, we're getting the Navidson story. So there's lots of footnotes, and then there's like editors making footnotes, and like Zampino himself making footnotes, and then me now adding annotations and stuff in there. So it's really interactive, really fun. Yeah, it's like reading essays, but like there's lots of clues and hints, so it's kind of like a scavenger hunt at the same time, especially going back and rereading it. I'm just noticing a whole bunch of stuff, like I mentioned a few times, like foreshadowing. Oh look, they're mentioning this over here. Like this whole, where is that? There's a rifle with RLB stamped on it, and if you look that up, there are some pretty interesting things that are also stamped on there that aren't mentioned in the book, but it's a real rifle. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's like websites that if you Google things correctly, you'll get to those websites and they give you like additional information and stuff like that. And there's like hidden codes written in it. It's fun. I think if you look up Mark C. Danilewski forums, there's people who have gone through and explained everything if you need some help or some place to start with those in case you aren't already aware. I think that's it. I have another audiobook lined up, but I can't remember what it is. I think I'm probably just going to continue the Murderbot series anyways. So yeah, that's my currently reading little life update. I'm gonna be moving. I don't know if I said it, Fredericton, New Brunswick, like like a whole new province. Like it's mind-blowing, but a little scary because I don't know if my clown can come with me. And I just dropped something on the floor. You know, I love my clowns. I'm just like, I've moved countries, but like that wasn't like a permanent move. It was like 6 months. So it's like I could leave my stuff at my parents' house, but like here I have to like seriously like pick everything that I'm gonna take with me and move. That's yeah. Okay. Let me know what you're currently reading. If you've ever moved long distances again, and have any advice, not just in regards to like bringing books with me. Don't tell me just to put it all on ebooks, because I have some like rare books, some old books, some like, you know, books that are hard to find, books that would be hard to replace. Oh yeah. And if you know anything about Fredericton, like drop it down below and let me know some cool spots to go, and bookstores, used bookstores and thrift stores and stuff to check out. Okay, thank you. Bye.